Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be talking about the transition from being a ballet student to going professional. This transition can honestly be quite a culture shock. I really don't see that many professionals talking about this online, so I don't know if there's that many resources for the pre-pro students that are about to go professional, except for just like talking to their own teacher. So I hope this will help some of those teenagers who are about to transition, and also maybe their parents who are curious and maybe were never dancers themselves. So let's just go ahead and get started. I have a small list in front of me. So one of the biggest differences from when going to a ballet school to a professional ballet company is that you do not get constant attention and corrections from the person at the front of the room anymore. As a student, you get a lot of individualized attention, a lot of guidance and corrections to help you grow into that professional. But once you step into that professional atmosphere, you're kind of on your own a little bit. There's not going to be a teacher at the front of the room that's really paying all of this attention on you. You have to do it yourself, and you really have to be that person for yourself now. That can be quite a shock to a lot of students. On that note, my second point is that corrections become less personal. So there are always going to be corrections from the director or the teacher at the front of the room, but it is most likely not going to be personal and directed right at you. I'm not saying that they don't give personal corrections. There are some personal corrections. It is just a lot less than student classes. So you have to really learn to take whatever corrections are given to the room and apply it to yourself if you want to keep improving and growing. The other thing is that company class is mostly for just warming up and getting ready for rehearsal. It's not quite the same as the student classes where you are really focused on bettering your technique and learning about all those little tiny details. Company class is just like go, 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 warm up, and let's go to rehearsal. Number 3 is a little bit related as well. It's up to you to push yourself. As students, we're used to our teacher or our coach really pushing us and motivating us. And when you're in a company environment, it's up to you to push yourself. And if you don't do this, your technique and your performance can really suffer, which can result in you not getting a contract the following season. So it's really up to you to want to be there and to motivate yourself and push yourself. A really good way you can do this is just a tip. Watch the older, more experienced dancers in the room. You are now in a room with a bunch of professionals. There is so much you can learn from being around them. Next is you need to learn choreography fast. This is something you really need to try to excel at while you're a student so that you're ready to go once you're in that professional room. This is not something that you want to learn once you're there. This is something you learn before you get there so that you're not struggling. The reason you need to learn choreography fast is because there are going to be new choreographers coming in to the company and setting ballets or setting pieces, and you don't want to be the one that's left behind and can't retain anything. So you need to pick up choreography fast because they're just going to keep throwing it at you and you're expected to retain it. And on that note, I have here, you need to retain not only choreography, but formations, corrections, and changes. So this means, especially when you're working in a corps de ballet, but really anyone, soloist or principal, you need to retain the changes day to day. So for example, when I was working on Swan Lake Corps, there are so many changes that happen on the day-to-day basis. Different formations happen, corrections for certain heads, arms, legs, directions. I mean, there are so many things that are being thrown at you, and you are expected to remember each change and each correction each day that goes on. Obviously, you're not expected to be perfect, but I'm just saying that this is something you need to think about now as a ballet student, because it is something that's going to be expected to you once you are a professional. And the other thing is, if you are capable of retaining all of those things that I listed, it's also going to make you stand out and become a very valuable dancer in the room. And I will add that if you are able to learn all of the other spots and not just your own, learning the other spots without being asked, you automatically become incredibly valuable, because if something happens to someone and the understudy doesn't know what they're doing, or just a weird scenario, and you're ready to go and you know it, that looks incredibly good on your part. The next one is about understudies, actually. So you need to be able to learn by watching. A lot of times when you first go into a company, you might not even be cast in anything. You might only be cast as an understudy. Understudies are the people that go in when someone gets injured or sick or something happens. So understudies are incredibly important. People think that if they are just an understudy, that they're never going to go in and that it doesn't matter, stay on the side of the room and they don't learn their part. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. As an understudy, it is your responsibility to know that role that you are assigned as if it is your own, because honestly, it is your own. So not only do you need to learn by watching on the side, you also need to be practicing on the side. So if there's a sequence of turns in the thing that you are understudying, you need to be practicing those sequence of turns on the side to make sure that you can execute them. Being an understudy also doesn't mean that you'll just go in for a performance. A lot of times people get sick and they're not there for rehearsal in the studio, and you are going to be thrown in immediately and no one's going to go over anything with you. You're just expected to go in and know what you're doing. So usually there are understudy situations in ballet schools so that it kind of prepares you for that company experience. But if you are a pre-professional student and you did not know about this understudy situation, please know that it is incredibly important. And as soon as you are cast as an understudy, you need to take it extremely seriously. I was thrown into a soloist role as an apprentice when I was like 19, and it was terrifying, but I promise you it happens. The next one I have is finding your place in a company can be very difficult. When you are so young and the company members are in their 20s, 30s, and maybe even 40s, it can be hard because you're going from being a big fish in a small pond to a tiny fish in a big pond. It can be very difficult to find your place. My suggestion is make friends, be kind, talk to people, be considerate. All of the things I'm talking about is also going to go into my next point, but finding your place can be a little bit difficult, and I just want to let you know that it is normal and it's going to take maybe even a couple months, if you're lucky, a couple weeks, to adjust to the new environment, the new people, the new teachers, just a whole new world that you are in. And try to enjoy every moment, because even though it's overwhelming and difficult, it's also incredible that you are even there and are even in the room. Now, my last point is respecting company etiquette. If you do anything, please do this. You don't want to walk into a ballet company environment as an 18-year-old studio company member or apprentice or whatever your rank is and act like you are the best thing that's ever happened, that you are the best in the room, that you are the best dancer. That is not the mentality you want to walk into a company environment with. There is seniority, there is etiquette. If you want things to go smoothly for you, you need to be respectful of the older dancers. And I'm not saying to bow down to them and kiss the floor that they walk on, but just be kind and respectful. Do not walk into a company class as your first day or whatever and just stand wherever you want. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm trying to help you. Do not. So usually the lowest ranks, especially when you first get there, you need to wait on the side until the company takes their spot. And this can be something that's very hard for students to understand, or maybe they just don't know. There is seniority and you need to respect that. If you don't respect that, someone is going to put you in their place and it's probably not going to be a very pleasant experience. So I'm trying to save you from that. Wait until the company members take their spot and then you take your spot. Eventually, everyone's going to find their place. You're going to learn where everyone's bar spots are, and then you're going to have your own bar spot too. You just don't want to be walking in on the first day and going front and center, because the principal dancer that's 39 years old and has been in the company for 20 years is going to have a problem with that, and it's not going to be fun for you. It's all a learning curve. You are brand new there. It is not an easy transition, so just be observant, respectful, kind, receptive, be open to receiving criticism or corrections from the new teachers that you have. Be open to receiving corrections even from the older company dancers, because they do have more experience than you, and there is a lot that you can learn from them. This transition is honestly probably one of the biggest places where people don't last very long, just because it is such a culture shock. So going from student to professional, a lot of people realize maybe it's something they don't want, or maybe they just don't like it, and they end up quitting within 1 or 2 years of making that transition. And that's totally fine too. Obviously, we're all gonna have different paths and journeys, and not everyone's going to be in a company until they're 45, but I really hope that this video maybe helped you understand a little bit more about that transition, maybe helped you understand a little bit more of what to expect. There are more things I'm sure I can go into more detail. If you'd like a part 2, you can ask me questions in the comments. Like I said, if you are that pre-professional student, maybe you are a parent of a pre-pro student, or maybe you don't dance at all and you're just interested, but it is something really important to know. I wish someone had kind of warned me or told me about all of these things before I stepped into a company environment. I'm a pretty quiet, tentative, observant person just by nature, so I didn't have any moments where people were yelling at me or anything, but it definitely was more of a culture shock than I thought going into that environment. So anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it and talking about these points. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.